Hello, my name is Mr. Boyer. I'm your IS-15 instructor, and tonight we're going to get started working with files in Microsoft Word. So on the desktop here, I've already saved the file that we're going to be working with. I've downloaded that from Canvas as I showed you in class, and we're going to rename the file to conform to our naming convention. So if you right-click on the file, in the context menu that comes up, we're going to select the Rename option. When you do that, you'll see that it has Word A as the file name or the assignment name. We need to change where it says last name, first name to match your own first name and last name. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight that, and then I'll simply start typing my last name and my first name and hit enter. Okay, now that that's done, let's go ahead and open up the file. I'll double click that, and Microsoft Word will come up. It's going to load all the add-ins and options and everything and get started here. And once it opens up, we'll be able to make some changes. Okay, so the first thing you'll notice is Microsoft Office, when it doesn't know where a file came from, it'll actually stop the ability to enable editing. That also protects you against any malicious code that's in there. So we know that it's from a safe source. Let's go ahead and select Enable Editing, and you'll notice the ribbon pops up right when that happens. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what's on here. Right up top here is a quick launch toolbar. It's got just a few of the most basic commands. We have the save, the undo, and the repeat or redo button, and a quick print button. We also have a customize button here that lets you make the changes on the quick access toolbar. Okay, up here we have the ribbon. You notice along the top we've got the tabs for each of the context sensitive ribbon options. Sometimes we'll add additional ribbons depending on what we're working with. So for example, when we work with pictures later, you'll see another tab pop up. Okay, you also have the File tab here, which changes the screen and allows you to do things like create a new document, open a document that exists already. You can also save the current document or save as a different file name or a different file type, or maybe in a different location. You can save the file as an Adobe PDF, select print. You can also share, export, and close the file. Finally, you can make changes to your account here. You can provide feedback to Microsoft, or you can select certain options that apply globally to Microsoft Word. We're going to go ahead and click the back arrow to go back into our document and click the Home tab so we have access to the most used groups. Before we get started, one thing we want to do is show and hide formatting marks. The little mark over here that looks like a paragraph button, this actually toggles the show hide paragraph marks, and it shows all of the hidden formatting symbols. It shows you where everything is formatted, where all the paragraph marks are set, shows you where spaces are with a little dot, just like you find right here, and it shows you other things like page breaks and other hidden marks. Okay, so we're going to leave those on while we're doing the editing, and let's look at one of the most basic functions here. That's replacing text. So you notice this this title, or I should say the subtitle of this document, is all about me. Well, the first thing we want to do is go in here and put your name in here. So the first sentence says, "Hello, my name is blank," and it specifies full name, and I attended blank high school in the city of blank. So right now all we want to do is go ahead and change this first blank to be your full name. So I'm going to click with the left button, highlight that blank, and then simply type my name. Okay, and if you've done that, congratulations, you made your first changes. Okay, the next thing we want to do is we want to do some things like we want to change the formatting of the name here. So I want to make this stand out. So first thing I want to do is highlight just the name. So I can start back here and notice both words are fully highlighted. And now I have a couple of different ways that I can change these. Okay, so the first thing that I can do is I can change the font and certain characteristics about the font appearance, such as selecting the bold button, italics, underline. I can highlight it, change the colors. I can bulletize or number the text. I can also change the font sizes and change the font style. I can totally change the style of that item too, just by selecting the correct style. But in this case, we're going to work a little bit more simply. First thing I want to do is underline that whole word. Let's make it bold. Let's make it bigger by a couple of font sizes, and we'll turn it a different color. Let's turn it yellow or gold. I think that's actually called gold there. Okay, so now we've changed this. This is one way that we can change the font styles. There's another way, and up on the ribbon bar we can actually change the font styles here too, and I'll show you that in just a moment. But the first thing I want to do before I do that is I want to change it back the way it was. I'm just not really happy with those changes. So let's go ahead and make some changes. Number one, I can come up here to the quick access toolbar and I can select the back arrow that undoes the text fill effect. So when I click that, notice the first thing it did, it was change the color. And then when I go back, it reduces the size of the font, finally gets rid of the bold, and then the underline, and then the font's back to the normal way. Now, if I want to incorporate some of those changes, maybe I want to go back and redo the underline, I can click the redo arrow at the top there, and it will redo those changes for me, and I can take it back as far as I want. So maybe I'm happy with everything but the color. I can simply use the redo and undo until I find that spot. Another way that I can undo and redo things is by hitting Ctrl-Z. So on the Windows keyboard, you hold down the Control key, hit Z, and it is just like hitting the undo button. If you're on a Mac, the process is similar, but instead of hitting the Control key, use the Command key. So I can hit Ctrl-Y or Command-Y on a Mac and redo some of the same changes. Okay, let's go ahead and change this to a different color. So instead of changing the font on the mini toolbar, I'm going to use the font group up in the ribbon. And so I can go up to the font color button and I can change it, and instead of a gold, I want to make it orange. Let's go ahead and go orange for Reedley College. Okay, I've selected orange. I can also look at other font options here by clicking the menu launcher on the font button. So you find this menu launcher right here, click it, and here come a whole bunch of different settings here. Okay, so perhaps I want to put that into small caps. In other words, the lowercase letters will now also appear as smaller capitals. Okay, I select OK, and I've changed the font. So now, we've changed some formatting. We've looked at different ways to undo and redo formatting changes. Now I want to fill in the other two blanks. So it says here, I attended blank high school. I'm going to put the name of my high school. And the way that I do that, instead of highlighting the whole block, I can simply double click it and it will highlight just that word or just that block. So now that I've done that, let's go ahead and make those changes. I graduated from Dunedin High School in Florida, and so it was in the city of, I come down here and do the same thing, double click, and Dunedin, Florida. Okay, so now we've seen another way that we can highlight just a word or just a block and make those changes. And now I'm going to change the formatting of these letters. So I want the format to be exactly like I changed the name to. So I want that larger font, I want to use bold, I want to use underline. I want small caps, and I want to have it orange. So it would be a lot of work to go back and make all those changes. Instead, I can come up to the clipboard group on the ribbon, and select Format Painter. So what I need to do first is highlight the section that has the formatting I want to copy, select Format Painter, and then I can highlight just the part that I want changed. And that works pretty good. There are a couple other ways to do this too. So if I undo this, another way that I can do that is I can highlight this formatting here. Let's make sure I'm highlighting just the formatting, or just the area that has the formatting. And notice the mini toolbar that comes up, I can select the paintbrush there too and do the same thing. Highlight Dunedin High School, that comes up as well. Now, again, multiple ways to do the same thing. I can also undo that and do this. So I'll select this whole section here, and I can double click the Format Painter on either section, either in the mini toolbar or up in the clipboard group. If I double click it now, everything I highlight will take on that format. So I can highlight Dunedin High School and then also highlight Dunedin, Florida. When I'm finished, simply click the Format Painter once and we're finished. Okay, so now that we've done that, let's go ahead and take a break here, and in the next segment I'll go ahead and show you how to insert pictures and make other changes.